I'm Major General Laura Yeager, Commander of California Army National Guard and the 40th Infantry Division. Proud to serve, inspired every day by the soldiers and airmen in our ranks, in your Cal Guard.
I joined when I was 17 and I wanted to claim my independence and find stability and really protect people.
Your Guard, leading the community with love, strategy, and growth.
Our oath is to the state and nation. Our birth was in 1636, and it predates the establishment of the United States of America. We are over 20,000 strong, with skills ranging from linguistics to logistics, medical to military police, artillery to aviation, infantry, intelligence, and special forces. Most of us serve part-time in the Guard, 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in the summer, but we hold other professions, attend college, or serve full-time in the home.
I get to live a normal life, and then on the side I get to come in and be a part of something bigger than me. Your Guard, coming together to protect California.
We deploy to support federal requirements to secure the peace at home and abroad, and we serve here in the state. Fires, floods, earthquakes, civil unrest. When it's a crisis, it's us you will see. We support civilian authorities. We bring our military experience, training, and equipment, combined with our civilian acquired skills to help our friends, neighbors, classmates, and co-workers on their worst day.
With the car fire that happened in Reading, that was my hometown, pretty devastating. National Guard got activated. I wanted to be a part of that. This is exactly why I joined the National Guard to begin with. I'm super excited to be working with CAL FIRE. I want to be in the action.
Your Guard, an opportunity to serve your community.
During the pandemic response, our soldiers and airmen, alongside our community partners, distributed tens of millions of meals throughout the state to Californians in need. We will respond to wildland fires across the state, and our counter-drug operations have helped to interdict nearly $500 million worth of dangerous drugs and kept them off the street.
The reason I joined the Guard is impact people directly. That's what I want to do. I want to save lives. I mean, it takes all to accomplish this mission. California Air National Guard, maintaining air superiority.
We don't know what the future holds. Pandemic response may continue indefinitely. We do know that there will be global climate change impacts, and there are near-peer competitors that our nation will have to be prepared to defend the country against. But in the National Guard, we're always ready, we're always there. We're always looking for citizens to join our team. Do you want to make a difference? Do you have what it takes? Join us, always ready, always there. Greetings. I'm Major General Laura Yeager, and I'm a proud alumni of UC Irvine. It's a real pleasure to join you here today to talk a little bit about what the California National Guard does, how we operate, and how you might find an opportunity that would be of interest to you to join the organization. I was listening to NPR this morning on the way to work, and I heard a report of all of the activities across the nation that the National Guard is currently engaged in. And it might surprise you to hear that right now there are 23,000 National Guardsmen and women that are in service across the country in support of COVID and other missions, which is more National Guard soldiers mobilized than were mobilized during World War II. I find that really a fascinating subject. And probably as a result of our unprecedented engagement across the country, you've been seeing reports of things that we've been doing in support of our communities. So I thought I would take a little bit of time today to talk to you about some of the things that the California National Guard has been doing, specifically talk to you a little bit about how the National Guard is different than the active component, and a little bit about the opportunities that might interest you if you have ever considered serving in uniform. So in California, we have approximately 19,000 members of the California National Guard. Of that 19,000, approximately 13,000 are in the Army National Guard, and they fall under my command. Currently, we have about 1,000 that are providing service in support of the COVID pandemic response. We have soldiers that are doing everything from assisting at food banks, and in that mission, so far, they've distributed over 125 million meals to needy Californians. They are helping provide vaccinations. They've been treating patients. So we've assisted at long-term care facilities and other medical facilities to treat and screen over 45,000 patients. And since the crisis started last year, we've had a testing team out, and they've conducted almost 100,000 COVID tests. So we're pretty busy on that front, and we expect to get even busier as the rollout of the vaccine continues to ramp up. And we expect to be more heavily engaged in helping California get those vaccines into the arms of our California community members. So that's kind of what we're doing with COVID. Very recently, as a result of events that transpired related to the inauguration of President Biden, we did activate 250 soldiers, and we sent them out to Washington, D.C. to help provide support to law enforcement agencies there. They will be there until mid-March, and they're doing fine out there. They're really proud of the service that they're providing to the nation at this point to ensure the security of the Capitol. Last week, we finished up a mission with the law enforcement agencies here in California. We had 1,000 soldiers that were activated that helped secure the Capitol and were on standby duty in case we had any violence similar to what was seen in the Capitol on the 6th of January. Again, it was a mission that it was short notice, but our members are very responsive, and they were happy to be of service. And it turns out, I think, because of their presence, it did deter any violence here in California. So that's a real good news story. What people don't really often understand about the National Guard is that we are a part-time force, and the majority of our members serve in the community doing other important jobs. And this adds a lot of diversity and talent to the organization. So for instance, I have a senior enlisted advisor that works for me at the 40th Infantry Division, and in his full-time job, Command Sergeant Major Joe Derma is a high school principal. And so it's really interesting, the perspective that he brings. We have also people that are small business owners. We have a number of our members are members of law enforcement themselves. Many, just a variety of different jobs. Plumbers, Uber drivers. A large number of our members are in school, as you know, because you have a chapter there, an ROTC chapter there at UC Irvine. We do commission a number of your students into the National Guard in California from that program. So we are very appreciative that you sponsor an ROTC program there on the campus. So what's interesting is when we join the National Guard, we take 2 oaths. So I took an oath to the governor of California to protect the Constitution of the state of California. And I also took an oath to the president. It's not directly the president, it's actually the oath is to the Constitution of the United States, of which the president is the commander in chief. But we take 2 oaths, and my status, unless I'm activated for a federal deployment, is here under the commander-in-chief of the governor of the state of California. And he is able to call upon the National Guard here in California for a variety of reasons. Usually what we get called up for is different than what's been the case this last year. We are most normally called up when we have wildland fires across the state. And over the last few years, we've provided thousands of soldiers to augment the California Department of Forestry as it fights fires. We always provide aircraft in support of those fire missions as well. We recently were very proud to have some of our crew members recognized by the governor himself. They were awarded the California Medal of Valor, which is the highest award that he can provide to anybody in California. And they were awarded that for a mission that they performed in the Creek Fire. Here in California, there were a number of more than 200 of Californians that were trapped and surrounded by fire, and they were not able to evacuate. We were able to, on very short notice, launch a CH-47 and a UH-60 helicopter, and those two crew flew in and out through just very dangerous conditions. The heat, the smoke, the poor visibility. They made 3 landings in that area to rescue those campers. And the flames were within 50 feet of those aircraft when they were able to pick up those campers. So they went in 3 times, and they rescued 224 Californians from that situation. And surely their lives were in jeopardy there. And they also recovered some number of the campers' dogs. They rescued them as well. So really proud that they were recognized for the work they do. But every year, those crews are out. They drop hundreds of gallons of water to help support the firefighters on the ground. And we're really proud when we get to do those missions. We join the National Guard and we stay because of the sense of purpose that it provides us. We, although we are available to deploy federally, for the most part, we respond here locally. We're part of the community. We're your neighbors, your classmates, and your friends. And if you see somebody responding to an emergency here in California and they're wearing a uniform, it is the National Guard. And it's just a high honor and a privilege. I will say, having been both in service on active duty, where Monday through Friday, 7 days a week, 24/7, I was in the Army, and that's all I did, versus the job that I do in the National Guard. It was much easier being on active duty. And although when you're on active duty, you are serving away from your home. So I was assigned in places like Fort Lewis, Washington, which is near Olympia, Washington, San Antonio. I did some time there, in Alabama, Washington, D.C., and it was really exciting and interesting to be stationed in places outside of California. In the National Guard, I'm here in California. I haven't had to move in the last 15 years, so I'm really very embedded in the community. But like I said, most of our members do 2 things. They are doing something for a full-time job, and then in the National Guard, we serve 39 days a year, which basically, to be honest with you, is really kind of a floor. Most of us serve more than 39 days. The minimum would be normally 1 week in a month and 2 weeks in the summer. But with the activations that we've had over the last year, it's been a significantly greater number of days that we've been serving. So if you're interested in serving in the Guard, I will tell you that it takes a lot of time, but it is hugely rewarding to be part of a team that does such great things for the community. And there's some really interesting jobs. And because UC Irvine is really known for its STEM programs, I thought that maybe some of the opportunities that are available to students would be very interesting. So for instance, we have cyber units that do a lot of work. Both they're activated in some cases for federal deployments, but we do have teams on that support the state here as well. So whenever we had that recent solar winds incident, we were able to deploy some soldiers with some really great cyber skills to help the state of California and some of the agencies contend with that problem. We have engineer units, we have field artillery. Myself, most of my career, I was an aviator, so I'm always excited when I can find somebody that's interested in going to flight school. And certainly math and some of the other STEM skills are helpful if you're a pilot. We also have military intelligence units as well. And what's interesting too is that we often find that the full-time job that our members have is very complementary to what they do for us in the National Guard. So for instance, we have military police units, and a high proportion of the soldiers that are in the military police units are also law enforcement officers in their full-time employment. So they're incredibly talented and proficient in their tasks. And it, like I said, it complements very well what they do in the National Guard. But then sometimes we find that There are people that do something very different than what their military career would be. So we do have people that are quite financially well off, and they really don't need the money. To be honest with you, they just enjoy serving, and what they like to do is they like to be an infantry soldier. On the drill weekend. That's what really makes them happy. So they're not looking, even though they might have incredible cyber skills and credentials, oftentimes they wouldn't want to do that. They would rather go out and low crawl through the woods and do the infantry job. So it's really interesting. So beyond the benefits of just belonging to part of a team and knowing that you're making a difference in your community, there are some other incentives to wanting to join. So for instance, for me, I ended up in the military because I needed money to go to college, even though the tuition at UC Irvine was pretty reasonable back when I graduated in the 80s. It was still more than I could afford. So I pursued additional money via a scholarship and the money I earned doing ROTC, and that helped me cover the expenses of UC Irvine. So we still offer assistance with education costs. We have access to really great healthcare insurance at low cost. Lots of different opportunities to travel to interesting places. As a result of my military service, I've been able to go to Thailand, to Japan. I've been to United Arab Emirates. All kinds of interesting places around the world. So I think that if anyone's interested in joining, we are always looking for talented people who want to make a difference in their community. And it's pretty easy to find us. You can just Google, California National Guard recruiters, and consider at least explore the opportunity. Although I'm in the Army National Guard, we do also have Air National Guard positions in the state too. And you could talk to a recruiter about joining the Air National Guard as well. And they have a lot of similar kind of opportunities in the National Guard in terms of different kinds of jobs and things to do. So if you want to join and you stick it out for 20 years, you do also have access to a pretty good retirement. However, after serving 20 years, you do not collect that retirement until you turn 60. So sometimes for younger folks, it's a little bit hard to get them to want to put in that length of time, knowing they're not going to be able to draw the retirement until age 60. But what we're finding is our folks, especially our younger members, are really more motivated, again, by that sense of purpose that belonging is giving them, and knowing that they're making a difference every day in their community. So I hope you'll forgive me for that shameless pitch, because I'm just always trying to get more people to join this organization that I love so much. So I appreciate your indulgence on that. And again, thank you so much for having me with you today. I'm looking forward to when the COVID restrictions lift and I can get back down there on the campus and see how things have changed since I was last there. Thank you again.